Welcome to NTN Nightly. I am Janelle Norville. This edition's top stories. Saint Lucia welcomes some 1,075 cruise visitors since the reintroduction of cruise tourism to the island. The Ministry of Agriculture reaffirms its commitment to the development of Saint Lucia's agricultural sector, and the local financial institution provides aid to St. Vincent and the Grenadines following the last Soufriere eruptions. Saint Lucia's gradual reintroduction of the cruise sector is steadily gaining momentum as 116 more cruise visitors were welcomed to Saint Lucia on Monday aboard Seaborne Odyssey. The vessel anchored just outside of Rodney Bay, and visitors and staff were brought to shore at the Pigeon Island National Landmark via tender. All visitors were screened by port health authorities and issued with wristbands prior to departure to the various sites and attractions. On hand to welcome the vessel were cruise agents Cox & Company Limited, management at the Saint Lucia National Trust, and staff of the Saint Lucia Tourism Authority (SLTA). To mark this momentous occasion, commemorative plaques were exchanged on site between SLTA's Senior Sales Manager Richard Moss, Marketing Manager Christopher Gustav, Cox & Company's Chief Executive Officer Matthew Bobre, and Seaborne Odyssey's Captain Krasimir Radev. Cox & Company's CEO extended a warm welcome to the visitors.
Returning to St. Lucia, it's been a long period. The industry has gone through its ups and downs, but very confident. It's a very resilient industry, and over again we have shown to the travel public how strong an industry it is, and I think it's going to come back much stronger than before. And in 22-23 I expect to see a really bumper season for the cruise industry. So Captain, welcome back. Thank you very much for taking this opportunity to come to St. Lucia. I know you had many other ports to call at, but coming to St. Lucia, so we really appreciate the support for the industry.
SLTA's Senior Sales Manager USA Richard Moss explained that this was another step towards the solidification and rebuilding of confidence in another sector of the tourism industry. He noted that more responsible cruise calls in such proximity speak to the strong confidence that partners have in the destination, protocols, and people. Seaborne Odyssey's Captain Krasimir Radev expressed gratitude for the warm welcome.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. Yes, we have been through a difficult times, but now we are back, and I'm looking forward to continue working with all of you and visit many times.
Since the reintroduction of the cruise sector on June 29, 1,075 visitors have graced St. Lucia's shores. The St. Lucia Tourism Authority and the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority continue working with all cruise lines to finalize their schedules. Additional cruise calls are set for July 20, 21, and 26, 2021. 9 calls are already scheduled for August, and the following months are also projecting strongly. 38 calls have already been scheduled for November and 74 for December 2021. All efforts are geared towards keeping St. Lucia safe at every stage of the reintroduction of the sector. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force says it will be on the lookout to ensure that motorcades remain relegated to individual constituencies. An adjustment to the COVID-19 protocols for campaigning 2021 saw the banning of national motorcades out of an abundance of caution against virus transmission risk and security. Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy says resources have been allocated to ensure that multi-constituency motorcades do not develop in the lead-up to the general elections on the 26th of July 2021.
What we would be looking at is that persons do not make a community motorcade into a national motorcade. So we are not expecting, if you have a motorcade in a constituency, for example, I had to just a name in a St. James. You have a constituency motorcade in St. James. We are hoping that it's only members of the St. James community or constituency to attend, and not members of Bridgetown constituency, so that it limits the number of vehicles, it limits the number of persons there, and it makes policing easier for us.
The Commissioner of Police advises organizers to remind participants of the COVID-19 protocols via electronic means ahead of the event date and strongly advises that passengers of a vehicle must be from the same family unit. As for traffic, vehicles of the motorcade should not drive parallel to each other and should proceed in single file through the motorcade route. According to the protocols, candidates are permitted one constituency motorcade per week and must conclude an hour before curfew on evenings.
The motorcade must stop at least 1 hour before curfew time so that it would give persons an opportunity to get back to their homes before curfew. So the curfew is still in effect. We did not extend the curfew, contrary to what persons were circulating that there was no curfew. The curfew remains in effect at 11 p.m. So at 11 we should not have any activities in relation to whether it is politics or otherwise, any social event. We're expecting at 11 persons would be out from the streets and into their homes.
Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy. The Department of Agriculture continues efforts to develop the agricultural sector in Saint Lucia. Anicia Antoine reports.
One of the Department of Agriculture's most recent initiatives is a graduation ceremony for the 2021 farmer training for farmers in agricultural regions 1, 2, and 7. The training is one of the many outputs of the enhancement of the efficiency of production, distribution supply chains in the fruits and vegetable sector project, often known as the 7 Crops Project, which continues to fulfill its mandate of reducing St. Lucia's food import bill. Participant of the farmer training, Wilston Alfred, in expressing gratitude on behalf of the farmers in his training cohort, says the information received will only serve to enable farmers to capitalize on future opportunities within the sector and improve their output.
Diseases, pests, all of those issues. And the other thing about record keeping, I think I mentioned that. And I think that record keeping farmers will go a long way in guiding or providing data for the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of various aspects of what it is we do, what is it we don't do, and where on island we are practicing what we are doing, so that they can probably influence policy in terms of land use and land redistribution throughout the country in terms of what we can produce for sustainability for the country. I mean, these are the things I was thinking about in terms of benefits of the program and how we can extend it.
Permanent Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, Barrymore Felicia, reaffirms the ministry's commitment to assisting local farmers, particularly in light of the setbacks within the industry caused by Hurricane Elsa, saying that the department's recent acquisition of $5 million in funding will soon be released in order to begin the rollout of farmer aid.
We intend, first of all, to provide support to those the hardest hit first, bananas and plantain farmers, and see what other support we can give to those other farmers in terms of greenhouses and the like. So that is on its way. I felt it important to reassure you as promising farmers, as farmers, that the government of agriculture is serious about your success. And we're not just talking the talk, but we're providing the financing to show that we are well behind you and supporting you.
Mr. Felicia praised the farmers on their commitment to completing the certification program and encouraged them to use it as a tool to improve themselves and the agricultural industry as a whole. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
On the 1st of August 2019, the Styrofoam and Plastics Food Service Containers Prohibition Act No. 22 of 2019 was enacted. The Act supports a ban on the importation of all styrofoam and selected single-use plastic food service containers. Following the suspension of elements of the Act that would have taken place on the 1st of August 2020, the Department of Sustainable Development and its partners would like to remind the public and stakeholders of the following. The continued ban on the importation of styrofoam and selected single-use plastic food service containers included hinged takeaway containers, disposable cups, plates, trays, and bowls, which took effect the 1st of August 2019, Part A. The effective date for the restrictions on the manufacturing, sale, distribution, and use of the items banned for importation in 2019 is the 1st of August 2021. The effective date for the ban on the importation of disposable styrofoam egg cartons, plastic forks, spoons, knives, straws, hinged takeaway containers and stirrers is the 1st of August 2021, and the further restriction on their manufacturing, sale, distribution, and use as of the 1st of August 2022, Part B. Importers of items listed in Part B of the Act are encouraged to declare their stock as of the 1st of August 2021. As Saint Lucia continues striving to reduce consumption and use of single-use plastic, the public is encouraged to make responsible choices in its plastic use. Remember, if you need it, reuse it. If you do not need it, refuse it. For more information, please contact the Department of Sustainable Development at telephone number 468-5810 or 468-5863. First National Bank provides additional aid to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the wake of the La Soufriere's most recent series of volcanic eruptions. The emergency relief support, which consists of grocery items, clothing, and toiletries, were donated by staff across all branches of First National Bank, Saint Lucia Limited. We get details in this report.
Though the last eruption of La Soufriere was recorded on April 22nd of this year, the aftermath is still a present reality for thousands of evacuees who have been displaced from their homes. In an effort to provide some support to RBTT Caribbean and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the staff of First National Bank came together to provide a truckload of supplies in the form of groceries, toiletries, and clothing. According to the Executive Manager for Marketing and PR, Robert Favre, this humanitarian effort was initiated and organized solely by the staff of First National Bank.
Though the volcano now is at an orange status, what sometimes we tend to forget is that when everything is happening at the time, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of donations being made. But what happens when there's a calm, we tend to forget and something else takes precedence. But the people are still in shelters. Lots of people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are in shelters. Lots of people are in need. It's a massive cleanup campaign. Some people need repairs to their homes. So we're hoping that that donation can facilitate them in a way where monies they would have to spend for groceries, they can use those monies perhaps to purchase materials to build their home.
According to Favre, this wasn't the first time that the bank had reached out to the sister isle and will certainly not be the last.
In the midst of the eruption, we got a call from St. Vincent as well regarding, St. Vincent sent out a call regarding storage of water. So what we did as an organization, as a bank, we purchased a number of water tanks, storage water tanks from Bryce here in Vieux-Fort, and we shipped those to St. Vincent, to Nemo, for distribution, particularly to the farmers in St. Vincent who obviously suffered great damage. We also had an initiative from the staff in St. Vincent who required water tanks from St. Lucia, and so we facilitated the shipment again.
First National Bank officials lauded the willingness of its staff to jump to the aid of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a sister Caribbean island doing their best to recover from La Soufriere's most recent volcanic eruptions earlier this year. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting.
Meantime, the CARICOM heads of government receive updates on natural disasters that affected member states. CARICOM News Times to Sanking English Francis has the details.
CARICOM heads of government received an update on the situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the aftermath of the eruption of La Soufriere volcano. They also got updates on the recent flooding in Guyana and Suriname and on the impact of Hurricane Elsa on Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They expressed solidarity with those member states which are counting the cost of the recent natural disasters. Heads of government underscored the need for strengthening the region's resilience from the impact of climate change.
The meeting recognized the critical role that regional institutions have played and continue to play in the response to regional emergency events. In this regard, we commended the sterling work of the Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies. We expressed appreciation to our development partners for the financial and technical support to the regional response mechanism led by the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, in support of member states.
CARICOM heads of government were cognizant of the delicate balance between reinvigorating the regional economy and safeguarding the health and well-being of CARICOM nationals with the evolving mutations of the COVID-19 virus. In this context, they agreed to consider proposals to create a regional travel bubble for a pilot of 6 months, taking account of previous lessons learned. The opening ceremony of the meeting was addressed by the chair, Prime Minister Gaston Brown, outgoing chair, Dr. Keith Rowley, and the Secretary General of CARICOM, Ambassador Erwin Leroy. Here are some highlights of those remarks.
It was an honor to serve as chairman of the Conference of CARICOM, heads of government, for the first 6 months of this tumultuous year. During that time, our countries have been faced with uncertainty on many fronts, from virus to vaccines to variants. Through it all, we have rallied and we now stand on a somewhat firmer ground as a result of the coordination and collaboration among member states, associate members, and our institutions.
That was immediate past chair of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley. This is NTN Nightly. Up next, Primus Hutchinson with the NTN Nouvelle Creole.
COVID-19 is a new pandemic disease as declared by the World Health Organization. It is transmitted directly by respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or indirectly through rubbing the face with contaminated hands. There is still no specific treatment or vaccine against COVID-19, and as such, the farming community should adhere to some special recommendations. Ensure that farm clothing and gear is clean. Wash hands thoroughly before harvesting crops. Use face masks and head ties whilst harvesting, cleaning, and packaging crops. Use all safety precautions when transporting crops to the markets and depots, such as handling crates and crops with only clean hands and covering sneezes and coughs with a tissue or the inner arm to ensure body fluids or droplets don't get on produce, and washing hands or using hand sanitizer after using the tissue. More than ever before, your important role as gatekeepers of St. Lucia's nutritional, health, and food security should be taken seriously. When you exercise these precautions, you not only safeguard your health, but also continue to allow all St. Lucians access to freshly grown fruits, vegetables, and other local crops. Remember, it is our responsibility to ensure our nation eats fresh, St. Lucia's best.
Welcome back. We join Primus Hutchinson for the NTN Nouvelle Creole.
Monsieur le Général, Messieurs, Mesdames, département qui a une responsabilité pour l'information en gouvernement Saint Lucia, ça c'est GIS, ça veut dire Télévision Nationale pays NTN, qui présente une nouvelle à Creole. Présentant Primus Hutchinson. Département éducation qui a formé les parents. C'est étudiant qui écrit l'examination, ça c'est l'examination Common Entrance pour l'année 2021, qui résultat est available mercredi semaine ici. Ça c'est le 21 juillet 2020. Comme des habitudes, présentation, c'est résultat de l'examination qui est faite premièrement pour ces officiers d'éducation en chaque paroisse, et c'est principal pour l'école là, et après ça, présentation qui est faite pour les étudiants passer l'école là qui ont été assistés. En considération des great challenges que la maladie corona a continué à poser à ce pays, cette présentation qui est faite par Zoom, ça veut dire par vidéo en façon média social. Pour toutes les paroisses, ça qui est fait pour toutes les paroisses, et qui apparaît aussi à sa page Facebook du département d'éducation. Durant la présentation qui est faite mercredi ici, la analysation en total par performance chaque étudiant, aussi les institutions exige qui était à bas l'examination common entrance. Dans ça là, un total de 2148 étudiants écrit l'examination, côté 1058 c'était garçons, pas de 1185 c'était filles. Département d'éducation, car remercier tout le monde pour déguer patience et aussi qu'a fait une apologie pour n'importe situation qui peut affecter les parents pour décision pour faire présentation ça là par médias sociaux. Secteur touristique, c'est aussi, j'ai continué pour prendre un mouton petit à petit. Ça, c'est un résultat des pays à vivre introduit secteur touristique et puis un peu de responsabilité. L'initiative là, j'ai une cause pour yon lot 116 les étrangers touristes visiter pays à bord bateau Seaborne Odyssey. Bateau a été accosté à Rodney et été facilité pour ces étrangers là de faire terre en Pigeon Island. Agence de voyage à cette ici Cox and Company Limited, ménagement Saint Lucia National Trust, et les officiers autorités touristiques cette ici te présent pour bienvenir ces touristes là en cette ici pour matcher grande l'occasion ça là la tenir un échange de commémorations entre les officiers autorités des affaires touristiques cette ici Cox and Company et capitaine Seaborne Odyssey, ça c'est Krasimir Radev. Selon M. Richard Moss, autorité des affaires touristiques cette ici, visitation bateau touristique ça là, c'est manifestation confiance les Grecs des bateaux touristiques ni en capacité secteur et industrie touristique cette ici en ligne de destination, protocole des maladies Covid et PPA même. Tous ces touristes là sont trouvés d'examiner par les autorités pour pays et placés en un bracelet à ce point avant de partir pour visiter ces diverses destinations en pays cette ici. Depuis cette ici vue ouvert par le secteur bateau touristique le 29 mois de juin, 1075 touristes ont visité cette ici. Autorité des affaires touristiques cette ici et autorité pour ça c'est SLASPA qui travaille et puis tout secteur bateau pour finaliser plan pour diverses places yoni pour visiter. Bateau touristique qui continue à visiter cette ici les 20, les 21 et qui a visité les 26 en mois de juillet. Déjà, il y a déjà 9 bateaux touristiques qui sont en ligne pour visiter cette ici en mois d'août 2021. Aussi, il y a des plans en place pour 38 pour novembre, c'est le mois de novembre qui a venu, et 74 pour le mois de décembre 2021. Division pour encourager la situation vols animaux et oui, en département agricole, j'ai appris une grande démarche pour arrêter la situation bœuf qui calage à grande corde à ce grand chimie castré pour goziler et particulier au choc. Coordinateur pour division Sala, Pancreas Albert, expliquait la législation qui est en place pour gouverner au France Sala. Yon qui est coupable, ça trouve condamné $5,000. Eh bien, dès l'année en prison.
So ça, loi ça, cadeau. Oui, il cadeau comme ça. Sous mettre animaux, il s'est l'argent pour dès l'année et paye $5,000. Or, magistrat charge les $5,000 or il veut l'argent. C'est décision magistrat. Oui, c'est un magistrat ça charge ni $5,000 et veut l'argent. Oui. So nous avons averti moun, s'il vous plaît, nous avons fait ça en roundabout là, au choc. Qui joue ça m'a passé moi 3 bœufs en mi-temps roundabout là. Yon te debout de les autres là couché qu'après soleil. Oui. Non, nous pas ça mine pour dire yo cross chimé. Oui. Oui, yo traverser chimé pour ça taper ko là. Oui, et l'un pour sortir là c'est même bagaille là nous pour faire. Oui. Texan côté machine qui monter descendre. Oui, 24 temps pour journée là. Vous comprenez? So nous pas ça là où c'est bagaille ça pour aller.
Albert déclaré que pour faire ça toute cette situation, c'est yon yo ka travailler à toujours pour établir une place pour mettre les animaux la prise. Mais tout de suite, ça a réglé. Et parler de ça, il va dire que si vous avez pièces d'animaux en façade, sur cette ci toutes dépenses qu'elle s'en mettent.
Nous pouvons ni un pont en bas, mais nous sans les chimées. C'est work in progress. Nous avons travaillé en ça, et petit soon, nous avons ni un pont bien fort. Mais si nous une pont pièce animale en sous de pays, nous avons apporté un pont en nord du pays. Oui, so c'est ça fait mon pour payer dépenses ça là, sortir vieux fort, oui, vieux côté y aller.
Monsieur, madame, ça c'est côté. Nous avons trouvé une nouvelle là pour aujourd'hui. Je vous remercie autant pour regarder. Je vous avez une invitation pour jeûner pour moi encore. Si Dieu conserve la vie, vous avez posé l'autre nouvelle. À quoi à la présent, je vous présente au channel.
Merci Appeal Primus. That brings us to the end of NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the Saint Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I am Janelle Norville.